this is Ren, and this character is my punchline character. She's my sniper build, and this video is for new players, those people that just came out of the vault. So since you're just out of the vault and watching this, or you are contemplating starting this game, this is a video for you. I recommend whenever you are building your character inside the vault, you do not take either option when it comes to coming out of the door with a level 20 character. And I know that sounds kind of arrogant. I've already played this game, and I've played it for a while, and I know how the game works. So I'm going to try and help you understand why you don't want to come out with a level 20 character right off the bat. For one thing, you absolutely have no idea how the card system works in this game. Whenever you open your Pip-Boy and you go to level up over here, you have cards that you will collect as you go through the different levels. And they are fairly random up till you hit level 50. Then you'll be able to select whichever card you want from your leveling process. Now, the reason why I suggest going through and dealing with the randomness of a on your new character is, well, essentially, you don't know what any of this stuff does anyway, so you might as well try it out. And if you're trying to play a build where you already have decided what kind of build that you're going to play, you've already defeated yourself in this game, because you don't have a preference yet, because you haven't done it yet. I have bloodied characters, I have full health builds. This is a full health build, by the way. And as you just saw, whenever you get multiples of a card, you can just simply add them together, and it raises the star value on one of the cards that you already have. Now, the cards you want to keep for your personal collection are these animated cards. They look the coolest, they overall have the best thing, but if you scrap those for this little coin down here in the right corner, the perk coins, it gives you more points whenever they're filled in, and you scrap them for legendary perks, which you can then use to place one of these cards. But you can only place one at level 50 unless, and then every 50 levels after that you acquire another one. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is those first 20 levels that you get, you're going to need them. Not because the game is particularly difficult, not because the game is particularly confusing, but you're going to need them because you don't know how to fight yet. Everything here levels to you, essentially. Now, from the point where you come out the door here, there's a stairwell going down here by this robot and a little sign. You want to come over to the sign and read it, and it'll put the wayward on your map, which on your map HUD, that is this building right here. Now, the other place you're going to want to hit whenever you leave here, you're going to want to go down and hit the Gilman Lumber Mill, which you'll see in just a moment, and the Isolated Cabin are both locations you'll want to definitely make sure you have on your map, because what goes on at the Wayward, and I'm not going to spoil the first quest if you haven't played it through, or if you're in the middle of starting it, I want you to enjoy it, because here's the thing, your character, for all intents and purposes, is the hero of this game. Now, your choices will affect your reputation and the way NPCs interact with you in this game, but may not affect the world in a way that will show you a level of magnitude that you'll appreciate if you're used to playing Fallout. But this Fallout game isn't about that. You see, it's not really about coming out here and being the hero by yourself. It's about kind of the community. In the end, now whenever you come out the door, you can come over here and you can loot some gear off of this corpse. Over here are some ghouls. They are floating around all over the place. I recommend killing them as rapidly as possible and gathering what you can from them. There are plenty of items around here to collect, like minor junk items and things like that, that'll help your character. Whenever you come out, even if you don't choose the option to take the level up and the cards that are preset for certain builds, you will still get a gear bag, which has a small backpack in it, and a few other odds and ends. You come down here and you'll speak to these two ladies. There's, at various points in the game world, there are these donation boxes. Right now, Fasnacht is going on. There's one at the location of Fasnacht because it's an event and they decided to put it there. But these boxes all show up at these locations that are marked as, let me see, right here. The train stations all have a donation box. Some of the larger habitated areas have donation boxes as well for you to go to. Players will drop things in them periodically. Also, the game, when you first spawn into a world, will put some items in there that are geared towards your character. So, whatever type of ammo you particularly use. This game is a hoarder's paradise for the first few levels. The biggest problem you're going to have is making sure you don't overdo it. So, going from talking to these two ladies, you're going to go down this way here. And yes, VATS does exist, so you know. And that is what I'm using because I don't have my targeting HUD up at the moment. But, anyway. So from here, you'll come out and you'll get a good view. And this is the basic area that you're going to go for. Over there in the distance, you can see a bridge off at the top of my screen. That is, on your map, this bridge right here. That is the New River Gorge Bridge, and it goes all the way across this thing, all the way to the other side. You can't build in the middle of it unless you go underneath it, just so you know. And the other thing that this game has is building mechanics for building your camps and things like that. If you've watched this channel at all, you'll know that I put out some building technique and training videos for new players, and for vintage players, and for, well, anybody that wants to learn to build. I'll try and show you something that you can use. If you build camps here, I will more than likely wind up showing up at one of your camps at some point on the PC or possibly on the PlayStation, and rating your camp from my rating score, which is like a 1 to 10 point system. If you want to check those out, there's plenty of those videos on this channel. There's also plenty of builds on this channel you can check out of places that I myself have built or people that I know have built, and they're all readily available. Now, one of the things you need to know whenever you start the game that you need to do is you need to open up your menu on your map and come down here to challenges. There are daily challenges, and these things are all here. And there are weekly challenges, and these things right here. These are all score challenges meant to attach to the scoreboard. Now, the ones that you don't really think about are these right here, which are the Appalachia challenges, or the character challenges, and there are quite a few there. You can see there's one for character, one tab for survival, combat, social, and world. Everything from finding locations to taking pictures of certain critters. I mean, it's in here, it's available. Most of these challenges will grant you atoms. Atoms are the currency of the atomic shop, which, you know, whenever I do a dumpster fires of the atomic shop video, that's where this comes from. You get atoms, you can buy atoms, you can get atoms on the season rewards. See? I mean, they're there. They're the currency of the game. Now, with atoms, you can go in and you can buy things like bundles of weapons. If you buy any of the weapons, you still have to make them in-game. They don't appear in your inventory magically. You still have to make them. Skins are only for the weapon or the armor type that they're associated with. So, like, anyone for the excavator set is only going to fit the excavators unless it says otherwise in the description. Make sure you read the description of any of the skins that you get. Same thing with the weapons and your Pip-Boy. Weapon skins are only going to fit a certain type of weapon. Make sure you have that, you know, weapon type in your inventory so you can apply the skin that you just bought if you bought one. Camp items. There are shelters in this game, which are instanced personal spaces that you can go into. There are allies, which can be won off the scoreboard. They can also be bought in-game at some of the vendors for gold. So technically slavery exists here. Furniture, again, it's like different items. There are items that are for Fallout First that you get whenever you join, like the scrap box or the ammo storage. And there are items like, that are gifts that they give us, like maybe they'll give you a bed or a poster or something like that periodically. But the large majority of these items in here on the Atomic Shop come from the Atomic Shop. They don't come from an in-game event unless it's something like going to the PTS. You have build kits. Now, the thing with build kits are that they are genuinely an entire section of, say, contemporary housing, or the contemporary porches, or the greenhouses, or the log cabins. They're just a large swath of materials they add to your general build and ability to build in the game. Now, from the point where we're standing at right here, the place you're going to want to go is where that smoke is, straight down below us. That'll give you your first introduction to the Responders. The Responders are an in-game faction that came in, well, they existed prior to the Wastelanders expansion, but since the Wastelanders expansion, you now actually have living members of the Responders to talk to versus being led around by a bunch of holotapes. One of the things you'll get whenever you're coming out of the vault is a camp module, and that camp module lets you place and build your own camps. You can build anything you want. There's a budget. The camp is in a circular radius, and then it goes up vertically 4 stories, and then it goes down vertically 4 stories. So if you build up on top of a cliff, you could technically build an 8-story camp because it's basically a dome shape. Now the reason why you want to come here is not necessarily to steal the power armor, although if it's here, by all means take it. But the thing you're going to want to do at a low level character is to take all of the armor off of it and hold it in your inventory and just take the frame. The reason why you want to do that is because unless you're high enough level to actually wear the armor, it doesn't matter if you have it or not. You can't put it on. Everything in game has a level that's associated with it. Like this weapon here, you have to be level 50 to use it. While this pistol requires you to be level 45. Now these are max level weapons, so most weapons max out level wise at either level 45 or level 50. And by most, I mean currently all. That may change at some point in the future, but I don't really foresee it happening anytime soon. Now these are living responders, and they have things that they will... This is a vendor as well. So this will be your first vendor that you can come talk to. They also have some items that you can buy and trade, and they have ammo machines and health vendors. You're not going to have caps yet at this point, but you may have picked up some junk between here and there by killing the ghouls or whatnot that you can sell. But they also have a stash box that you can use to dump your stuff. Your stash box is your friend at low levels. Once you hit higher levels, it's not so much your friend as much as it is a place that you wish was about 4 times as big as it is. But again, there's quests associated with this. There's also, posters. Anytime you see a poster, if you talk, I'm not going to say talk, but if you look at all the posters in the game, a lot of them have quests associated with them, especially at train stations and on the side of buildings like that you run into at low levels like here. Now from this point, as you come down this way, you're going to run into some of your first scorched enemies are in this house. And the pistol that I'm using currently is a quad explosive 44. Why quad? Because I like the ammo capacity. Why 44? Because it's the only one that uses that ammo type in game. And I have a lot of it at the moment. So it makes sense to carry it around and use it as much as possible. This is one of the places you'll want to visit. It has Scorched all in it. And right up here across from us is the isolated cabin. Now the isolated cabin you'll want to visit because it is associated with the quest to get your own vault. Because in this game they give you a small vault as a freebie that you can place. But you have a quest associated with it, and the isolated cabin is a good place to have on your fast travel markers because it is one of the places that you'll have to go to get said vault. Okay? Now from this point, we're going to run right out here to the Wayward, and I'm just going to run back down here to the road so you know where we are. And again, let me show you this place again. The name of it is the Wixon Homestead. We've gone to the Gilman Lumber Mill and the isolated cabin. We came directly down from Vault 76. From here, you just want to go down this way. They have these signs out to help guide you, pretty much. The overseer of the vault that you're leaving, by the way... Ah, dang it. The overseer that you've left the vault from, she left ahead of you along with all the rest of us. We didn't mean to leave you alone, but, you know, you kind of got stoned or drunk or lazy and just didn't want to pack up and move out on your own. Now, you cross this covered bridge. There's a box here that you should be able to get stuff out of if you want it. There's some corn over here by the side of the Wayward. The Wayward is the first quest location in-game. And the other one is right up here, which this is the Overseer's camp. And that's the camp module, and this is the camp that they give you as a brief show of it. They'll find these trunks periodically. They're not normal stash boxes. See, they don't have stash written on them. They're this black and gray color, and they are from the Overseer specifically. They'll have her holotapes in them to help you along your way. They'll also have odds and ends information and the occasional plan. So by all means, make sure you hit them up. But the Wayward's where you're going to go for your first mission. And that's where you're going to learn about making that sign there. Or I guess the one down here, the Crane Treasure Hunting Ink, will be one of the items that you'll get from it. But, and as I said before, here's another one of the drop boxes that I was telling you about. So, just remember, this is not Fallout 4. It's not Fallout 3. You are not the hero to end all heroes. You are one of many heroes that will help along the way. And the people here in this game genuinely have a good community. There are a few bad apples in any community, as you know, but they are not bad apples in the sense that they go mostly against the terms of service. As long as they stay within TOS, it's fine. People can kill you. Once you hit level 5, you are eligible for PvP. That's the other reason why I suggest you don't come out of the vault and take that level 20 character. Because you don't know anything about any of the gear that you have. You don't know anything about the world. You haven't done anything yet. And there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be willing to help you if you ask. And that's the other thing. If you use a mic, it's a totally different game than if you don't. If you don't use a mic, you're reliant on emojis to get you across what you need or what's going on. If you do use a mic, you can go over here under settings and you can set up your audio, and you can have it set for area, you can have it set for team, or you can have it set for none or auto. Now auto is kind of temperamental. It kind of supposedly, and it's supposed to be a hybrid between both team chat and area chat, and it's supposed to switch back automatically between the two whenever somebody's in one or the other, so you can talk to them. It doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. Push to talk is always a good feature to have in a game. You'll want to make sure that you go through and adjust the volumes of these settings for yourself, Because if you're playing on a TV in your living room, it's not that big a deal. But if you're playing with a set of headphones, it can get kind of deafening when you're doing certain things in this game. So, now, from this point, I'll show you something else. So, this is a new person's camp, meaning that they have built the sign, they have thrown down their thing, and they have done their little quest to get the NPC to show up that the sign should call. Or they're in the process of it. They have built nothing as far as their camp goes. And this is what most people expect for a new player's camp. The other thing is something like this up here for the Overseer's camp, basically. Okay? You might build something like this. Now, if you've been playing for a while, you'll have acquired plans and things from the Atomic Shop that will allow you to build things like this. Now, this camp has things that are both Atomic Shop items, in-game items, and also event-specific items. He also has a weather dominator, as you can tell. That's what I call them anyway. Basically, it allows the area around your camp to have a certain weather pattern. There's like, I want to say 4 of them or 5 of them right now in-game. This is the foggy weather that you get from Atlantic City. These things come from an event in-game. Currently, it takes place called It takes place right here. I honestly don't remember the name of it. It's neurologic something or another. But it's not something that I really care too much about. But that's a me thing, not necessarily a you thing or a game thing. It's just I've done it like 50 times since it came out, and I'm just kind of burnt out on it a little bit, to be honest. The chairs, the ghouls. This thing here comes from the scoreboard. This thing here comes from doing the Atlantic City expedition quests, which are accessed from your Pip-Boy here. See the little X icon that's glowing on mine? That's to set off an expedition. You will have to go to the White Springs over here to get that all set up and going. That poster that I showed you earlier should guide you there, or set it up so you can find your way there. This player has a lot of stuff from a lot of different events, and some stuff from the Atomic Shop, some stuff from the scoreboard. Now, players will set up these things in their camps, and this is the basic model of the vending machines. And what this is you can put things in your inventory on sale, and it will appear in this vending machine for whatever cap price you want to set it at. Now, this right here is a serum, and this is different from any other Fallout game that you've ever played in the fact that these exist. But basically what these do is they induce mutations in characters. Now, the serums themselves are not that hard to come by because we have mutated events now where, how should I put it, where you can get boxes that have like serums in them. Whenever you get plans, they'll be like well, not like this one, but they'll have like the plan category and whatever kind of plan it is. But like I said, you can price this stuff at whatever you want. My rule of thumb is always to buy stuff for what I'm willing to pay for it and not complain about it afterwards. I've gotten some really good deals and some really bad deals on some rarer items, but you got to do what you got to do to get some of this stuff, because some of it is really, really rare and some of it is not. A lot of this stuff in here is kind of overpriced for what it is, but again, people just stick stuff in their vendor and it's for sale, if that makes any sense. If the person is here and they have a mic and you have a mic, you can discuss it with them and they may be willing to cut you a deal or do some trading, whatnot, to get items. But camps like this are typical. This is basically what I call a warehouse style camp. It's built mainly by someone who has a bunch of stuff and wants to kind of show off the stuff that they have, but also because the person doing it really isn't into the building scenario in the game that much. And you can usually find these camps all around. Like this event right now is going on Fasnacht, where you get these masks. And the rarer of the masks are the glowing masks, so you know. Are the rarer ones that you get. So they've got the ones that they have on display so everybody can see what they've done. Or maybe they need them on display so they can keep track of the ones they've got. And they definitely like to show off because these are perfectly preserved pies which come out of the machine. They also come, there's also a couple places in-game that you can find them if you just want to go find them. But yeah, not a bad camp, not a great camp. If I was going to rate it, I would probably put it right around the 4 to 5 mark, to be honest. Because whenever I rate camps on creativity and appearance and, you know, the whole shebang. You get points for a bathroom, you get points for using prefabs, and prefabs exist in the game, and let me show you those as I'm talking about it. So, the featured bundle this week is the Candle House bundle, which I've already bought on this character. This is a prefab. You literally can stick down the whole building in one push. Now, the other thing that's in this is the Nodding Donkey, which is a resource generating item, which we have those in game too. This one gives you nuclear waste and oil. Now the problem with this is currently it's bugged, or currently it's been put in slightly wrong, where the Nodding Donkey and the wood pile that gives you like free lumber in your camp are on the same build list, meaning that like you can have one or the other in your camp currently. So again, this is as of 6/27/2024. That will most likely change probably as early as tomorrow if we're lucky, but who knows. They're supposedly going to put out a hotfix tomorrow morning to fix some issues with the game, mainly with some items that they don't want you to have access to that are here at the moment. Because here's a fun secret. Anytime Bethesda puts out a patch for this game, they inevitably break this game in one fashion or another. And every time an event fires off, like right now Fasnacht is going off, as I said before, every time one of these events goes off and fires off, it pretty much breaks the game in its own unique way. I'm going to go down here to my camp, which it is not at a waterfall. It's just called Waterfall Camp because that's the last name that I gave it, because I want to explain some things to you. So we're going to fast travel, and you'll get a load screen when you fast travel, and if you're lucky, the game won't lock up on you. Now, the problem with the PC version of this currently is, because of all the bugs that were introduced with the last patch that came through, you can have lockups on fast travel. That usually only happens and only pertains to certain things going off. Like right now, this gun is desperately trying to kill those moles. It's my turret, by the way. This is my camp. So, whenever you place your camp on the map, will appear an icon like this one for you. Okay? Now, under your camp slots over here, you can have multiple camps. I want to say you get 2 of them for free, and then any others you have to buy. And they have additional slots available. I think as many as like 10. Which is kind of convenient, because if, like, say, someone is at this camp, like, the camp that I was using was this one over here, which is my boat. Now, when I changed servers to come to this server, the boat was occupied by this guy's JQ Pancakes camp. So I opened up this one here so that I could go ahead and do what I needed to do. So multiple camps gives you that options. They also give you the option to have, like, this camp is all the way far north, as far as you can go on the map before you go outside of it. And so this also gives you the option to fast travel, to make fast travel points that you don't pay for, because you don't pay to fast travel to your own camps. You only pay to travel to locations that you've unlocked or events that are going on. Now, one of the things you need to know is whenever you go to your camp's icon, like this one here at Waterfall, for instance, I'll click on it. You'll see that you can change the name. You have a public beacon, Okay, whenever it's on and your camp is visible to the public, that means it shows up on their map like this one here does, okay? Or this one over here. And on your map, it's going to look like this. Your camp's going to be yellow, and it's going to put out these little yellow lines to show that the beacon is on. Now, whenever somebody looks at my camp, they know that I have a vendor and that I have a Fallout vault that's placed at this location. The green dot is the vendor, the red dot is the shelter. Now, again, you can change the location, you can even pick you can change the name, you can change the icon to whatever you want. Like, here's a listing of the icons that are available for your camps. Okay? So, pick one that you think is appropriate to the camp that you're building. Or pick one that you like and you just want to use. But, yeah. So, and the base icon for camps is always the little tent, by the way. That's the base icon for camps. The map just got its new expansion, and the new expansion goes right here at the bottom of the map between the Vault Tech logo and the West Virginia logo. This is your Shenandoah Valley area. And as you can tell, it's not a huge area, like the whole map was here before. But it is roughly, I'd say, a quarter size of, say, one of the other areas, to be honest. But for first expansion, it's a good test run, so to speak. Hopefully they'll make the decision to go ahead and add some more. And some other items to the Atomic Shop, and just in other things to the game. So this is the log thing that I was talking about here, that little stack of logs. You can either place that, or you can place, currently, the donkey, which is right here. Okay? Currently we can't have both, which is fine. But so everything you see here, let me just turn this on and I will activate my camera, and you have a floating camera now for building. This green area is the border of my camp. This is where I can build at. Things will spawn in the camps that you build. Everything you see in here is something that I put down, except for this house over here. And by that, I mean the one that the line goes through. I didn't do anything to it. But, yeah. So you have a fairly decent budget. It all depends on how you use it and where you place what, as to what can go down. This camp is for my channel contests that I have currently starting in July and running through August. Basically what I want you to do is I want you to find a sign that you like in game and build a camp around the idea of that sign. So this one is a little Italian restaurant with gardens out front and some tables to dine at, bathroom, vendor, and a kitchen. Not a bad little design. There's also an upstairs, which I won't bore you with, but
hey, world's tough out there. Don't make
there are a lot of really great builders in the game, and there's a lot of people like the one camp that we went to that are just building enough so that they can do what they need to do for their dailies or to keep track of things, as I said, for the camps that are built basically to show off certain items. But yeah, if you're new, I recommend, again, play the game. It's even more fun if you have a friend or two to play with you. Teams in this game are 4 players. And apparently my turret doesn't like that. And are under the social tab, and you can literally find public teams available and create your own new teams if necessary. All of the recent players that you met will show up here. So if you have trouble in game, or if you have somebody that you meet and you're looking to add them to your friends list, this is the easiest way to do it. The absolute easiest way is to join their team, then you'll have direct access to their gamer tag and you can add that without an issue. Somebody's shooting at it, but I don't know who. Okay, I need to go kill something. Apparently it's my house. Alright. I guess it wasn't in my house. This has just been somebody outside doing their thing. There we go. Well, now that thing is a Vertibot drone, and basically what it does is it carries around a case, and the case contains nuclear key cards and some other odds and ends, typically. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and swap this out with this base up here so I can see what's going on here. This is the area without my base in it, just so you know. Now, I don't know why base was acting up and was shooting itself, but it was for some reason. I'm guessing it has to do with probably something randomly aggroed the guns, which is one of the reasons why I don't usually use a lot of guns in my camps. But this one has a couple random spawns nearby, and I felt that it kind of added to the way the camp was built for them to be there. Now then, next on the agenda. So I'm going to show you one place you're going to want to take over, and I'll explain to you why you want to do it when you're low level and not high level. Okay, so I'm going to go to this guy's camp up here. And then I will show you the location that I'm talking about. If I'm lucky, this guy's camp will overlook it and you'll see it without too much of a problem. There's a shot. Okay, down below us there's a building. You can see it right to my right shoulder down there, and a few little odds and ends. The lot isn't fully loaded in. So we're going to go down there and I'm going to show you this place. Now, because this is still a Bethesda game, it is still operating on their engine. The thing you need to remember is that their game engine is not optimized for certain things. Like the LOD, for instance, it just kind of naturally bleeds in over a course of time. Not a bad thing, not a big thing, not that inconvenient. You're going to run into little things like this camp here, which is a random spawn location. The random spawn location allows things like the vendors that are traveling. This guy's the storyteller, by the way. He shows up with 2 dogs all the time and will tell you a story. Down here, this camp overlooks a workshop. And at low levels, you're going to want to take over at least one workshop, because there are items that will be unlocked in your build menu that are called defensive items, like turrets, walls, barricades, and that kind of stuff that will be unlocked, and I want to say even a set of stairs that'll be unlocked as soon as you take this place over. You don't have to hold it for any length of time. Workshops are resource points. So this one here has black titanium in it, which is what this is right here. There's also... Thank you for that. There's also, like this one has like 2 or 3 different resource points in it. This is one resource location you will definitely want to take over, because you will want to get enough black titanium at some point if you play this long enough to make yourself a set of power armor from scratch. That is where you get the power armor station plan from, once you've made your set of power armor. For that quest line. Oh, Fasnacht is going off, so I'll go do this. So whenever you see an event show up with this on the exclamation point in it, it means that it has legendary script available and legendary modules, and you can also get things like repair kits or flux. And flux is atomic charged plants. There's specific... Flux is radioactive material that you use to make things like jetpacks. Some weapons require it. Some ammos require it. This is Fasnacht. So what's going on now is there are robots, like that one there, that are scattered throughout this area. There'll be 5 of them in total. They'll show up. You'll have to go to each of the buildings to find them. Each one will have a small little fetch quest, like one requires these tankards. One requires wood down there. One requires honeybee wax, which is this one in here. You put the wax inside this box right here, by the way. And you can get the honeybee wax from down over here at the honeybee house, which is right over here. So everything that they request or that they require you to get, you can get pretty much in this area without too much of a problem. It's not meant to be insurmountable. It's meant to be... take up a little bit of time when it starts so that other players have time to get here and get set up. Once all 5 robots are here, the Grand Master of the ceremonies, which is this guy down here, which you'll notice all of his weapons have been changed over to musical instruments because he's having a part. Well, this is a party. At this particular location, you'll find people, because this is an event, you'll find people that will set up characters that will just randomly be here, and if you're lucky, they'll randomly be doing something like these guys over here playing a guitar. Whereas if you're not lucky, they'll be sitting up on top of the hotel somewhere, hiding. But there's only so many people on a server at a time, so if there's too many people that are doing that, this whole thing just kind of goes to crap, to be honest. And nothing really gets done. Anyway, so the parade comes down this road right here. Whenever all the robots are there with their masks on. Stops right here at this location. Right where that little sign is. And they will wait here for a certain amount of time. During that time, a bunch of frogs, rad toads, are going to show up and they're going to attack. And by a bunch, I mean like anywhere from 2 to 35 to 50, depending on the server and stability. The longer this event seems to run, the fewer toads wind up showing up, it seems. Once that's over, they'll come across this bridge here. They will then loop back over this way. And once they get to right about here, between these signs, right about where this cutout thing is that you would normally stick your head through to show, you know, for a picture for, super mutants will start spawning, and they will spawn in all of these buildings around here. And they will spawn up in the woods right there, and behind that building right there, and behind this building due in front of me. You'll fight those off. You'll also be watching the back area over here, because suiciders will spawn back here. And they will come in and basically try and destroy these bots. You want all 5 bots to survive. You want them to be intact. And you want to take them all the way as close, basically all the way through till they come all the way back up to this spot right here, which is when the final boss will spawn in, and also a bunch of animals that are indigenous to this area. So you'll get stingwings, wolves, maybe a bloatfly. Then the major boss thing can be anywhere from a sloth to any of the random spawns here. There's been blue devils, the turtle boss, which is the oka or orca, oka. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but it's a turtle. The sheep squatch. I haven't seen a death claw yet, but I'm sure there probably is one. But whenever the turtles come out, they come out and they show up down here underneath the bridge. Underneath that bridge, back over by the honey house, over here. And it's our job basically to keep their population down so that those bots can make it through without too much of an issue. You'll be able to pick up junk. You'll be able to pick up whatever you, from any of the stuff you killed. Whenever you loot something in an event like this, and whenever you have multiple items to loot, you'll have the choice between looting the singular item or going into area loot. Area loot is usually better for this type of event, by the way. That is a jetpack. The jetpacks, I don't recommend worrying about getting one, but you'll probably want one eventually. This one is attached to a suit of armor that I'm wearing. There are ones for power armor, which are much safer to use. The only problem with using jetpacks in this event, or at this location, is that, well, because these events aren't always incredibly stable on the server, you can have a glitch where you shoot off into the stratosphere and come back down and land wrong and die. In power armor, it's not as big a thing, because you're built to take impacts, whereas if it's just you in a little suit of armor, well, that's a different story. And as I said, there's plenty of people here, so there's not a lot for me to do, and I can actually make this video and show you guys what's going on without too much of an issue. You can turn off some of the camera shake in your settings. But as you can see, it can get kind of hectic. And everybody really shows up and turns out for this event. Not necessarily because it's a great event, but it's just a fun time in the servers. And as I said before, you are not the only one here. You gotta remember, all these people basically came out of the same vault you did. So it's kind of like being family to a certain extent. Dude, they're still working hard over there. Okay, so this is the area loot. Now I can just take all with hitting the X button. It's not a big deal. Again, I am using a controller. One, because whenever I use a mouse and keyboard, the recordings are not as stable. nor is it as smooth, and I have been told that it will actually make people sick because of the way that I turn on camera. So, yeah. There are good reasons to have kids watch your stuff and give you an opinion on them. So let's see what we can see from up here. So from up here you can see the entire area where there it is, the Blue Devil. As I said before, there'll be things spawning all over the place. But, yep, good times. Blow up some stuff. Kill a few things. Grab the spoils of being stupid. This is the donation box, by the way, for this area. By the way, there's an activator that'll come up. You just walk up and turn it on. Now then, anything you get in game, and the reason I did this is so I could show you this. There's a new category. This is all the stuff that you recently acquired. That's where it'll show up. It's easy to find, easy to categorize, easy to know what to throw away and what to keep. And apparently I got a new skull mask, which isn't a big deal. But anyway, this has been Ren for Wasteland Games, and this is a brief introduction into the game. Fasnacht is an event that occurs periodically during the spring and off and on all year round, because in the game world's description, basically, they let the robots decide when they want to have a party. So, and you can find that out here if you go through and find the holotapes and the letters from the people that actually lived in this little town. It's a big game. There's a lot of things to play, a lot of things to do, a lot of quests. Right now is a great time to start. They do have some stability issues from time to time, but that's pretty much any online game. So take that for what it is. Fallout first is an option that I only recommend if you're going to play this for a while. And if you're not, at least give it a shot, see what's going on. You might find it a lot more fun than you think.